So earlier this year on Valentine's Day, I protested about equality for singles. Single lives matter. I'm thinking about another commemoration on Earth Day. And the reason I choose Earth Day is that when I was 16 years old, I quit drinking soda. And not long after that, I started cleaning up the rest of my diet. And over the last 17 years, I've had a lot of biases. People see that I don't like to eat certain foods and they immediately exclude me from all activities, even though I could still mingle in other ways. I dealt with that a lot in the early years when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s. Not so much recently, but still, people want to make noise about the fact that I don't eat such and such, right? When it really should just be a personal preference and we should move on to other things, right? Now, let me tell you a little bit of history of how I started eating healthy and the kind of biases that I run into. When I was 16 years old, I was going to college part-time, and there was a girl that I liked in the classroom, and I wanted to lose some weight first before I approached her. I was taking a class on algorithms in computer science. And I went home, and I was just about to reach for my favorite soda. I used to drink a lot of Coke. And I realized that, hey, maybe I should switch to water. I mean, that would be an easy few hundred calories to cut right there. And I wouldn't miss any. I would still have all the rest of the crap that I love to eat. And I reached for a glass of water, and I thought, that's not so bad. And I never drank another soda since then. That was 17 years ago now. And I lost a lot of weight. And that Christmas, if I remember correctly, I went to an event or something, and somebody asked me, one of my classmates asked me how I had lost so much weight. What was really funny was that as he was asking me, he was sipping on a soda, and I didn't want to cause him any grief or any disgust or anything like that. So I told him I'll tell him about it later. And he insisted, and I invented the acronym SDS, which means Stop Drinking Soda. So I lost a lot of weight those first couple of months as it was. That was only 3 months into not drinking soda. And I would have stopped at that, but I would have stopped at just not drinking soda. But later that year, I was eating something. I can't remember what it was. Something sugary, obviously. And after my meal, I had belched up this gas. And the flavor of that gas reminded me of soda. And it really disgusted the hell out of me. And so I decided to give up the sugar. And I started reading food labels. And I refused to eat anything with even a trace amount of sugar, and I kept it that way for 16 years because I got so disgusted that one time. And so my mom was very upset because at the time you couldn't find ingredients when you go to the restaurants, and I stopped going to restaurants, and my mom was pretty upset. I don't know why. We saved a lot of money from me not going to restaurants, but she loved the family time together. But then we realized how much better I was doing mentally. And I was getting better grades at school. I was able to focus better, and I was able to make friends a whole lot better. I had biases, but at the same time, I was able to tolerate going out a lot better, right? In the past, I suffered from autism and high-functioning autism, and I improved a whole lot on the new diet. And but my mom still thought occasional amount of sugar was not going to hurt me. Yes, she is right. The problem is I've never successfully eaten sugar in moderation. That's the problem. That's another story for another time. Anyways, so I had a bad experience I wanted to lose weight to impress a girl, so I quit drinking soda, and then I had a bad taste with sugar 6 months later. And I felt so much better that I decided to read about what else I should avoid. And not long after that, I learned about the dangers of MSG and all the names that it's hidden under. And as soon as I quit MSG, oh my God, I felt so much better. I was able to wake up a whole lot better. I didn't have headaches. My insomnia improved a whole lot. I still struggle with insomnia, but it could be a whole lot worse if I were still consuming all the crap that I used to. Now the problem is that people see this and they make a fuss about it. About how occasionally consuming some of this stuff is okay. They fuss about When I go in the past, people used to tease me. They would claim that they had tainted my food with stuff or threatened to taint my food with stuff. People would make crude jokes about it, right? And that's only the stuff I saw, right? When they excluded me from certain events because they perceived that I wouldn't be fun from not eating all this stuff, obviously if they excluded me, I didn't hear about it, right? And so on Earth Day, I think I'm going to protest Green Lives Matter. Green meaning people who decide to have a healthier lifestyle. I can't think of a better word for that. Anyways, I feel a whole lot better. Lately, it's gotten a little bit better, right? I think we ought to have a policy, especially at the workplace, that if somebody says no to food, you should accept it, right? Just like you would accept somebody saying no to a lot of other things, right? I don't know why it's not a common practice to have some kind of a policy like that. I really don't. It's just like saying no to anything else, in my opinion. And I think people should live and let live with what they eat, right? Sometimes people claim that I say the only way to quit drinking soda is to never consume it. I've never said that. If you can drink soda in moderation, you're handling it okay, and you're healthy, congratulations to you. But that's how it worked for you, right? That's not how it worked for me. I accept it for how it works for you. Please accept it for how it works for me, right? Same thing with any of the other ingredients. Same thing with your health outcomes, right? At the end of the day, I just want you to be healthy. If it involves you consuming those things in moderation, more power to you. Anyway, Green Lives Matter. Thanks for watching.